Seahawks Today here with you for the second time today on this Tuesday afternoon as we catch you up to speed with the latest roster moves for your Seattle Seahawks. We'll break that all down for you coming up right now. Let's get started with yesterday's moves as Mike Novitsky was released from the center position as he signed with Seattle originally as a UDFA from my school, the University of Kansas. But he is gone now. The Seahawks will roll with Olu and Nick Harris at that spot right now. And then the other moves for Seattle with the release of Mike Novitsky, that means that they replaced him with a linebacker, and that was Blake Lynch, who they signed at the linebacker position. And then they followed that up today with a couple more moves as Josh O has been waived. An injury settlement, if you will, as well as they move on from him. And they replaced him with another linebacker, that being Jamie Sheriff, a former UDFA. We'll have more on Sheriff and Lynch coming up in just a bit. Let's start with just my overall thoughts on these four moves of what the Seahawks have made here. Selfishly, I'm disappointed that Novitsky got released. He was really good at the University of Kansas the last couple of seasons, was an all Big 12 player back in 2022, and was somebody that I thought had a chance to compete for one of those roster spots at the center position. Ultimately, the Seahawks disagreed, and I don't blame them for it. Obviously, they see him in practice, and they know him as well as anybody, so I get it, but selfishly, I would have liked to seen him stick around a little bit longer. But I got to tell you, of the additions, I'm very intrigued about Blake Lynch coming to Seattle and what he could potentially bring to the table with this Seahawks linebacker room, a guy that is still very young, that has NFL experience, that's played at the highest level before. We'll talk more about him, get to know him, show you some statistics, and what he potentially could bring to Seattle here in just a moment. Want to hear your one-word reaction to the Seahawks roster moves. I'll give you my one word in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seahawks Today. No signing is too big. No signing is too small. We cover it all here on the channel as we bring you our daily news and rumors with videos, sometimes 2 or 3 a day. We have our live shows twice a week. We got our first watch party of the season coming up on Saturday night when your Seattle Seahawks square off with the Los Angeles Chargers. Lock us in. There is not a better time than right here and right now to subscribe to the channel for daily coverage you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Join the 53,000 plus subscribers that are a part of our family here on the channel. Trying to get to 53.5 before that first preseason game. Join the family now. Subscribe now. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. My one-word reaction is linebacker. It is very clear and obvious that John Schneider and Mike Macdonald are putting their focus, their attention with these moves on the linebacker position. They're seeing what they can potentially have to work with to find depth pieces. And what has been an ongoing theme for this Seattle Seahawks team that we've talked about all offseason long has been the lack of depth at the linebacker position, specifically when it comes to the middle linebacker spot. We knew about Jerome Baker and Darrell, the injuries that they had suffered that had kept them out for much of the offseason activities, right? And both of them returned in time for training camp, thankfully. And they've played at a very high, very good level throughout training camp. But that doesn't mean the Seahawks need some other options, because once you see at that depth chart there, beyond Dodson and Baker at the inside spot, Knight, a rookie, a fourth-round rookie, remains to be seen what exactly he's going to bring to the table and if he's going to be ready to go right away. John Radigan's a borderline roster guy. How much do you want to depend on him? You already have an injury with Drake Thomas there. Sheriff expected to play on the outside, and that's going to be very competitive with Dre'Mont Jones moving over the outside, still expected to play defensive line as well. Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Derek Hall, among others here. So for me, this really tells me about the focus on the linebacker position to make sure they get this right when this season begins. find some comfort, if you will, at this position going forward into 2024. More to come here on Seahawks Today in just a moment. We'll tell you about both Lynch and Sheriff, but before we do, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets, the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to, whether it's a Seahawks game, a Mariners game. They got it all, folks. You choose the event. They got the prices listed. Then you pick your seat. See if you like that seat or not, and get the visual of what that seat looks like. And then you're checking out just like that with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. More on Blake Lynch. I saw a lot of this guy at the Big 12 Conference. I really liked what he did at the college level. Ultimately, he went undrafted in 2020 with the Baylor Bears. Played for a couple different teams. Bounced around with the Minnesota Vikings, with the Arizona Cardinals right here in this division, and was most recently with the Los Angeles Chargers. And you talk about the experience he brings to the table. He's played in 27 career games with 7 starts. And he was mostly used as a special teams piece, if you will. And you'll look at the numbers, not too flashy in those 27 games. 51 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 2 sacks in his time in the National Football League. And the folks at Seattle Seahawks kind of gave some context of what we saw from Blake Lynch with the LA Chargers. They said the following. Last season, Lynch was exclusively a special teams contributor with the Chargers in 7 appearances. He has mostly taken snaps at inside linebacker in his NFL career, which is where Seattle currently lacks depth. Bingo! There you go, folks. That's what they were looking for. Now, more on Jamie Sheriff. Sheriff, undrafted this year out of South Alabama. He took part in the Seahawks rookie minicamp back in May as a tryout player. So this is somebody that they've looked at, that they've scouted, they're very familiar with over the last couple of months or so. And while he was at South Alabama, he was part of quite a historic team for that program. They went into Stillwater and beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys, which was a big shocker, the biggest win in their program history this past year. Went on to win the first bowl game in program history, the infamous 68 Ventures Bowl, and he was the defensive MVP of that game. And his college statistics included the following. In 37 career games played in his college career, he had 109 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 10 sacks, and 2 passes defended. So some decent college statistics for Jamie Sheriff of what he did there at the college level at South Alabama. And he was asked in an interview that he did with the NFL Draft Diamonds of the player that he compares himself to, the player that he models his game after, that he wants to be like. And he said Khalil Mack, one of the best defensive players in the entire National Football League, a future Hall of Famer. I'm a big Khalil Mack fan. I don't think the Seahawks found the next Khalil Mack, but I at least respect that he's got high aspirations, that he's, trying to compare himself to one of the best out there. That's a good guy to model your game after, nonetheless. Here's what he said. A football player I would hang out with would be Khalil Mack. He has been a player I have enjoyed watching since he first entered the league. I try to model my game after his with the power and speed he has to intimidate opposing players. Now, to kind of put a bow on all this, the signings the Seahawks made, none of this is earth-shattering. In fact, there's a very good chance that both these guys don't even make the 53-man roster. But they weren't bad moves necessarily. So I'm going to go C+ for my grades for these moves the Seahawks made. How would you grade what the Seahawks did with their roster moves here? School's about to start up. Some places school's already started up. Your chance to be the teacher. Get out that red pen and grade these Seahawks roster moves. A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments section below. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seahawks Today. Cannot wait till we get to that watch party coming up on Saturday night. We will see you then. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great day.